Hello and namaskar. I'm Shilpa, moderator for this session. Today, we will have a sneak peek into the life of a student at Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. For your information, IIFT is a 50-year-old heritage, and the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, Delhi, particularly, is the most sought after and highest ranked school in India when it comes to MBA in international business. It was established way back in 1963 by Ministry of Commerce. And for everybody, our agenda for today's session is to understand courses offered at IIFT. Is there a comparison between IIFT Delhi and Kolkata? We'll also discuss about student exchange program and port visit and how IIFT is different from top B schools. CAT versus IIFT entrance examination, and we'll also be sharing the preparation tips today and how a day in a life of a IIFTian looks like. We'll also discuss about placement and opportunities. Now, you guys have to just give me a minute so that I can add our today's expert. So yes, I have sent an invitation to the person. Meanwhile, if you have any questions related to our today's topic of discussion, which is life at IIFT, feel free to share it either in the comment section or in the Q&A box, and I will try my level best to take all your queries answered by our today's expert. Well, here he is. We have Ayush Chaube with us. I heartily welcome you, Ayush. So now let's begin this session with a round of introduction of yours and including how your educational journey started to IIFT.
Sure. So a very good evening, everyone. I'm Ayush Chaube, and I'm joining you from IIFT Delhi itself. I started my chemical engineering from Jadavpur University, a state-tier college in West Bengal, Kolkata. After that, I have got 2 years of work experience working for both corporate as well as startup world. I have worked with a French multinational called Suez Technologies. I worked with a startup called Data Sutram, and then I decided to work with, join and pursue my MBA from IIFT Delhi. I also interned during my tenure at IIFT Delhi. I interned with Bajaj Auto in their customer experience division, and I'm currently in my final year at IIFT Delhi. So I'm looking forward to your queries, and I hope we can solve them.
Okay, thank you, Ayush, for that brief introduction. You already have a lot of experience. I can see two years of experience and internships. Okay, so why still you choose IIFT? What was the reason?
So IIFT is one of the top tier colleges in India, and it was, most of the aspirants back in my time as well as today, the major exams, the major league exam that we usually go through, be it GMAT, be it CAT, be it IIFT, I think these are our target colleges that most of aspirants target, and I was lucky enough to get through IIFT, so I decided to go ahead and pursue it.
I have few follow-up questions, Ayush, but I will be asking it later on.
Sure.
Can you just discuss about what are the courses offered at IIFT?
So IIFT, as the name suggests itself, it's Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. We have got a legacy of 60 years and above. It was founded back in 1963, and it offers courses as be it marketing, be it operations, be it finance, be it trade. I think trade is something that differentiates us from any other B school in India. And I think the best part about IIFT is that it gives you an international flavor. I mean, other colleges might teach you economics, other colleges might teach you business, but we teach you international business. I think that is something that makes it very different. And, in the world today where globalization is at play, I think IIFT, that relevance, the global relevance makes a big difference in our lives. And that's one of the reasons why I prefer this.
So yes, I can see from your dictum, I can guess that you already separated IIFT from the rest of the top B school, because you said we have the international flavor when it comes to IIFT.
It's a perspective, right? I mean, this is something that it actually differentiates, and I think that's a unique selling proposition that IIFT, offered and interested me. I mean, that made it different, and yeah, that got my curiosity.
Right. Okay. और यहाँ पर जितने भी लोग हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, अगर आपके कुछ प्रश्न हैं, अगर कुछ सुझाव है, so feel free to send it either in the Q&A box or in the comment section, और मैं कोशिश करूंगी कि मैं ये सारे आपके क्वेश्चंस भेजे हुए आयुष से पूछ पाऊं. चलिए आयुष, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Is there a comparison between IIFT Delhi and Kolkata?
Right. So IIFT Delhi and Kolkata, I think that's a very famous, topic of interest. But I think, yeah, as the name suggests, the location differences are always there. But in terms of academics, in terms of placements, we have a common thing. I mean, IIFT as a brand is represented in an equal platform. The professors, they teach both at IIFT Delhi and Kolkata in rotations. The courses offered is same. Yeah, in terms of hostels, since it's a new campus, IIFT Calcutta has better hostels. In terms of, let's say locations to travel around, be it the Himalayan ranges, I think Delhi has a preference over that. But again, in terms of what an MBA curriculum offers, I don't think that's a major difference in terms of that. And all the major league companies that visit any other B school, be it ABC, Excel. I think most of them open for IIFT and they give equal opportunities to everyone. Again, the case competitions are, there is an equal footing for every college that IIFT represent. And I think that IIFT tag, be it from Delhi or Kolkata, I think that really doesn't matter. If you get the platform, it's on you now, how you take it forward.
Ayush, are you a hostler?
Yeah, I am a hostler and I'm currently joining you guys from my hostel itself.
Okay. So we are very much eager to understand how's the hostel life.
Right. So I think for speaking about IIFT Delhi itself, I'll just restrict that to this. So IIFT Delhi is situated in Hoskas. It's just near the center of Delhi, in the South Delhi specifically. It's the party hub of Delhi, as people tell, and it's a great campus in terms of the facilities that's being offered out here, and we have I think we have around 200 to 300 rooms. That's for MBIB courses, the full-time MBA program. And we have proper accommodation for everyone out here who actually enter. And we also have external hostels, a few others surrounding our college, so that students who are coming from far off cities can avail that. At the same time, we also have day scholar provisions for people who are staying in Delhi. So it's not compulsory, but again, IFT provides us the opportunity to take hostels.
So is there any criteria to get a room in the hostel? Like in other colleges, in Delhi University, we have a criteria, but does
Right.
IIFT has any?
So, I mean, there are certain years have like this time the batch sizes increased a bit. So we do have a first come first serve preference in that term. But again, that FCFS preference is determined by the admin of that particular year. So this year, for example, my junior batch had the preference in terms of their IFT scores. So a larger score as well as people from, let's say, different cities, not just Delhi NCR, from other cities were given a preference. If someone is from Delhi NCR, they are usually requested to opt for, let's say, day scholar program. But other than that, that preference order is determined. Again, that's like for 8 to 9 months, because after that, some people go for rotation basis. Admin allows these people inside, and we have a lot of activities in the first trimester. So most of them actually happen to stay in campus itself.
Okay, Ayush, a common thing is that when we just discuss about hostel life, before entering into any hostel, we are very skeptical and scared at the same moment because the seniors are there and how they're just going to treat us. So can you just tell us about, I'm going to use an informal term, how cool is junior and senior relationship there?
So I think it was a cultural shock for me too, in the sense that there is no senior and junior in MBA. Because, like, be it our UG colleges, right? Let's say even in Jalp University, we have the senior junior thing that we have to call each other bhaiyas and didis, right? At the same time, this does not really happen in the MBA world. Why? Because it might very well be a fresher is in second year, a person with 5 years of experience is in first year. So there is no bhaiya or didi out here. We are all at the equal fitting. Yes, there is just an advantage of a competitive advantage of a person cracking the exam a year before us. So we are in a and since it's a professional course that people totally pursue, then the setup is totally professional. Like there is no uncoolness in any kind of behavior. And we are very helpful in the sense that senior juniors, we collaborate for case competitions and all. And I think the events, right, like there might be 400 people, both senior and junior together, right? Any event that we pull off at that large scale, that wouldn't have been possible if both the teams not, like use it synergistically. So that's a crucial part of it. At the same time, I would also say that MBA as a curriculum is, has been shaped in such a manner that people learn how to collaborate. So senior junior is no more a thing in MBA world, and again it's 2022, so it's more of colleagues and more of candidates pursuing the same program.
Ayush, I can see a question in the Q&A box. And yes, I can see comments. Okay, Ayush, bhaiya. Okay, yeah, Ayush. So the question is like, how safe IIFT is for girls?
Okay, I mean, there is no reason to be unsafe. I mean, if you're concerned about Delhi, I mean, again, Delhi government has substantial initiatives for everyone's safety, be it boy or girl. At the same time, girls are residing inside the campus itself in the academic block. So in terms of their security, there's no such problem. Again, in terms of security guards and all, cameras and security guards, they are very, very, well equipped with that infrastructure. At the same time, we have 24-hour surveillance, so that kind of security will not be a problem. At the same time, curfew timings are very strict for girls as well as boys, so that in case, let's say, even if you're leaving hostel premises for some reason, even if it's your birthday or if you have to visit a relative, there are formal procedures for that, so that people do check up and do follow up where are you. So in terms of safety, I don't think there is any problem as that.
So Ayush, and when we just be in the college, we have a lot of assignments, dissertation to work on, papers to write, right? So
Right.
is the same scenario at IIFT, and how you are balancing your personal life and college life?
Right. So honestly, it's not just dissertation project and group projects. I think it's a lot more than that. I mean, it's actually, I'm not even overselling it when we say that we rarely get to sleep more than 6 hours a day. So we are actually packed. We have us like lectures go on from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. in the evening. We have got follow-up assignments. We have case competition. We have placements. We have club activities. I mean, it's not just study, study, study. We also have sports activities. We have our own parties and own hangout sessions. And I mean, we are totally packed in that manner. And again, in terms of personal life and professional life, I think. Uh, 2 years for every student who happens to come at IIFT or any other college for that matter. I think what really matters to them is that they want to enjoy this life as their life. I mean, the professional and personal life actually gets very blurred. And everyone here is for development of themselves and they make sure that they do that. So, in terms of balancing, it's just that we have to be very efficient and we have to make sure that whatever we're working on, that gets completed in a timely manner. So, that's what my recommendation would be.
So it's for everybody. We have a rare opportunity to ask an IIFT and the questions you want to ask. So feel free to just pour all your questions in either in the comment section or in the Q&A box. Okay, I can see one more question here has been asked by Neha again. Being a newbie, how to be the part of the societies at the college? Bhaiya, tell us about that. Okay.
Okay. Newbie, as in I'm hoping she means freshers. So even if you're a fresher, you don't need to worry. I mean, it's all upon your personality, all upon your passion, your inclination, would kind of, there are several clubs and societies, and let's say out of the 200 people in a particular batch, around 60 to 80 people definitely hold a POR in different societies. Like a POR is position of responsibility. So in case you're inclined to, let's say I was very inclined towards the marketing and the alumni relationship, these two wings. So I prepared my CV accordingly. I had activities for that. I showed my passion. You will be given an equal opportunity to interview. And it's on you, be it you're a fresher or a person with 10 years of work experience, to sell yourself and your idea on the interview. And we have teams ranging from, let's say, we have teams currently also where freshers lead experienced people. So there is nothing newbie or let's say old people. It's all about your passion and how you actually perform in the interview. So yeah.
Ayush, what's that? You used the term fresher lead.
So basically, so what happens is like people have this perception that that if I'm a fresher, I will not be able to have any leadership position. Or let's say I had 2 years of work experience, but at the same time, my colleagues or let's say my best friends out here are simply freshers who have just left the college and they have entered the MBA. But it's very impressive at the same time that there's not much of a difference. I mean, we all are equally competent, and that's one of the reasons why we are here in this college. And this college gives us a platform to perform. So it can very well be that a person who might be a fresher, a 3 year or 4 year younger to me, can very well lead me, and I might be a part of that team. So it's not about your experience; it's also about what you are as a person.
So equal opportunity is just not discussed, it's actually being practically done at IIFT, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, as many students have interest in knowing about the cultural activities, fest and conclaves. So if you could just discuss about that.
So great. I'll cover the cultural activities in two parts and the fest in again two parts, both internal IFT and external IFT. So again, you are at Delhi. So Delhi is known for its parties and the fest that happens at DU or let's say neighboring colleges out here, right? So you are in the circuit basically. So you are very well invited to any other circuit events. So in terms of your fest, you're very well sorted. You will be getting invitation. You will be going to their fest. They'll be coming to your fest. In terms of IFT's internal fest, we have Kyobadis, we have trade winds, we have certain flagship events that are recognized as top 10 events in India that were recognized by Forbes last year itself. So the point is that we have events on large scale. We are completely jam-packed. We have, let's say, I mean, if I've just to consider the last 15 days, we had Halloween when October ended. We have a marathon on 15th of this month. So we are totally packed in that terms. And so the point is key in terms of events, you will be totally covered. We had a sports event, we have cultural events, we have artistic events, we have marathons, we have social causes, we have NGO partnerships. So I mean, events is not something that you worry about at an MBA school, not just IFT, any other school. I mean, everyone makes sure that you grow and develop your competency across. So that's one thing.
So, Ayush, according to you, what kind of skills such programs or such festivals makes a person to experience at IIFT? What
So,
kind of a skill? Hmm.
okay, skill. I think I would say one particular skill that is very important is the grit. Like if a person, I mean, grit and responsibility. Let's say if you're giving me a responsibility, people should trust me that I will actually carry it on. That's one thing. It's not rocket science, honestly. I mean, even if you have to set up stage, you have to invite people to come. I mean, everyone can do that. But it's just that how
Hmm.
responsible you are, how dedicated you are, how passionate you are. So that's something that totally drives you. I mean, the inner driving force, because all are adults out here. There is no one coming and micromanaging you. There is no one coming and telling you what to do. It's all passion driven. Like how you remember back in undergrads, we had every fest as the biggest fest in the world, right? So that kind of energy, if you have, I think that would be great enough to, any skill that you want to do for a fest. Yeah.
Thank you for answering that question, Ayush. When it comes to student exchange program, previously we had a session with the IIM candidate. So where we discussed about the French scholarship and other student exchange program, their Shapak scholarship. So does IIFT offers any?
Yeah, so every year the student exchange program we have partnership with some foreign institutes. Every year they change and every year they are revised. So again, this year we had it in France and Spain, but again next year it might be a different one. The point is that we do have a student exchange program, and people, the top 30 people who have actually got very well marks both in IFT entrance as well as the first trimester exams are nominated for an interview, and then that interview happens, and the top ones are actually pushed ahead for the student exchange program. But I would also like to mention it's not just like in other colleges. Let's say if it's a batch of 200 people, only 50 or 60 people will actually eventually make it to a student exchange program because of the marks cutoff and all. But at IFT you also get an opportunity which is known as like a port visit. So port visit is very specific to IFT, and there is no other college that will offer you that. So port visit, as the name suggests, is basically IFT students are divided across several different ports, be it Jebel Ali in Dubai, be it let's say Sri Lanka, be it China, be it Dubai, be it Mundra port in Gujarat, be it Mangalore port in India. So point is there are several different ports across the world, and all the students will get a chance as their preference where they want to go. And these people will be headed by one faculty member, and this team will eventually visit the port in collaboration with the government, in collaboration with the industrial experts, in collaboration with the industries out there. And they will understand how exactly trade happens, which as a businessman, living in a globalized world is very important. How exports happen, what are documentations are required, what are the challenges that happen, how ports and containers are coming inside India, how they are leaving India. That entire cycle is something that we are exposed on ground, and that is one offering that you as an IFT aspirant can really look forward to. That okay, this is something that inspires me to join IFT.
So Ayush, do we need to clear any interview to be the part of this port visit?
So interview in terms of your preference. Let's say if you're so there are certain ports who have very huge traffic in terms of applicants. Let's say Jebel Ali in Dubai. That's a very famous port. At the same time, there are ports like Mangalore port in India, really famous. In Mumbai, there is Mumbai port and JNPT ports. These are really famous ports. So these ports, many applicants will be applying for these ports, but only top 31 will eventually make it. So for these sports, you might have to have a CGPA criteria. You have to be consistent in your academic track, and then you would get a preference because it's very difficult to select the top 30. And when I say top 30, it does not really mean IIFT Delhi. It means IIFT Delhi and Calcutta too. So it's like 400 people, and then they will be competing for different ports.
So if I'll talk about student and faculty interaction, even I just being a college kid, I was so hesitant to approach any faculty. So how's the scenario at IIFT? How
So
easy it is to have a conversation with a faculty there?
it's absolutely, I mean, it's very easy in the sense that I think the main difference in my undergrad and my postgrad education, if I have to tell you, like in my undergrad, what happened is that the teachers were very theoretical. The subject was very theoretical in nature. If the teacher comes and teaches you, it's very difficult. I was an engineer, so the concepts are very difficult, and it's not a case study based approach. It's mostly theoretical. Like you have to design a particular thing, you have to understand the specific, like the specifics of that, right? So in that cases, approaching a teacher would be very difficult to talk to them to understand what's wrong. But out here, everything is a case. We will be talking about McDonald's, we'll be talking about IOCL, we'll be talking about, let's say, Hindustan Unilever. So everything is a business case. So you might have opinions that you also have learned from the news. You might have your own personal biases. So that opens up a forum for discussion. And teachers are at the same time managers who, we have industrial experts, we have guest faculties. So there is no teacher in the sense that they are here to teach us, then they are here to communicate and learn from us at the same time. So they really, let's say, encourage us to ask questions, they encourage us to speak. So I think that particular, let's say, barrier in communication that most people think might happen doesn't really exist.
Okay, one more reason to be in IIFT, I would say. Okay,
Right.
I can see one question here. After BTech, why MBA in IB?
Right. So I mean, it's actually a good question since that people really think that, I mean, there's a common joke at the same time that engineers, if you have done engineering, now you'll pursue an MBA, right? But it's not really that easy or that simple to actually label. The reason I'll tell you why. My engineering is in chemical engineering. So chemical engineering is supposed to be a core field. That means I would be exposing myself to industry in the oil, resources, energy sector, right? But what about the world that lies beyond this? What about the world like Google, Amazon, IT world, or let's say like the steel manufacturer, like Tata Steel, Jindal Steel, Adani Steel, right? Or let's say any other industry. So when you're being an engineer, you're becoming focused to a particular domain. But when you're being an MBA, you're opening yourself to different opportunities. And as a learner, or let's say anyone who pursues MBA, I think that's the thought process that they come out here is that they do not want to be a specialist. They want to be a generalist in the sense that they want to open up to different opportunities. They want to understand how business works and not how a reactor in my case would have worked. So that was one of the primary reasons why I opted for an MBA. At the same time, it also opens up an array of opportunities for me, like where I want to go, where I want to work for. So that was a very interesting for me. That's, I think, one of the reasons why I joined.
So every person can have their own reason to clear
Yeah,
IIFT, right? Yeah. So if you have noticed, sometimes back I just discussed about IIM offers such exchange program or something like that. So I actually established a substructure so that I can discuss further on.
sure.
I basically want to do a comparison between IIFT and the other top B schools. So when we talk
Okay.
about top B school, IIM comes in our egghead and FMS comes. So what you have to say? Is there any comparison?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, there are certain comparison in terms of, let's say, what you're exactly expecting out of it. Let's say there are certain companies who obviously have preferences for an IIM student, but at the same time, when I'm comparing the top league B schools. Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, XLRI, FMS, and IFT. So all of these colleges stand on equal footing, but there might be differences in their fee structures. While an MBA from an XLRI would cost you close to 30 lakhs, an MBA from an IFT would cost you around 24 lakhs. There's surely a comparison out there. Location preference, XLRI would be in Jamshedpur. You would where live projects or getting opportunities in different industries would be restricted to virtual entries. But out here, you can actually go to Gurgaon. You actually can work on projects hands-on and build your CV accordingly. If I have to talk about same problem with Ahmedabad, yeah, Bangalore is better in that manner because Bangalore is an IT hub. So Bangalore does offer a lot of roles in that manner. If I have to talk about, let's say, faculty members, right? IFT faculty, let's say the finance faculty especially and trade faculty especially, they are not just teachers, they are book publishers. I mean, their books are used as industry benchmarks for industrialists. At the same time, they are also being propagated and used in IIM Bangalore's and IIMs of the world. So learning from the person who is writing the book itself is also an added advantage at IFT. Now, there's one aspect that people, even I used to compare when I was back in like when I was preparing for that is the placements perhaps, right? Now, if you check the placement reports, and that's like an official document on every website, it's not something that I would tell you, that's not something that anyone will tell you, it's already there in the net, right? If you compare the companies, they are the same. So what really, when you say that, the placement is different, what really means, what actually does people mean, right? So I think what people mean is basically if a company has come, now it's your metal to prove the company that yes, I'm a good hire. Now that's on the onus is on the student, right? Like how to pitch. Let's say if you like, I think my dream company would be Unilever, my dream company would be Tata Administrative Services, right? Or an Amazon of the world. So these dream companies visit Ahmedabad at the same time they come to IFT. But it's on me now whether I can prove to these dream companies that yes, I'm worth taking or not. So in terms of comparison, I mean, it's very little comparison in that manner. Apart from that, faculty, in terms of let's say visits and NGO experiences, I think most of the colleges have followed a benchmark nowadays. So you'll get a lot of social exposure at the same time, which actually matters to a lot of people.
So Ayush, does IIFT offers any scholarship? Because as for the MBA programs, fees are quite high. So does IIFT offers any scholarship?
We do have, let's say, scholarship and let's say fee adjustments for people from, let's say, marginalized communities. That's one of them. But let's say if you're a general candidate and if you want to avail a scholarship, IFT particularly do not have any scholarship, but it helps us to apply, like being an IFTian also helps you apply and be eligible to other scholarship. Let's say City Leadership Program, there is OP Jindal, OP GEMS. So there are certain scholarship program that is open to everyone in India. But being an IIFTian makes you eligible for that. So if you have a consistent track record of your performance and like a stellar interview record, then I think you can make it to that.
Now let's come to the IIFT entrance examination, which is supposed to be happen on 18th December, that is in the next month. And
Right.
students who are just targeting IIFT don't have much time. So
Right.
I'll be asking you few questions. CAT versus IIFT entrance examination. And you have already cleared this entrance examination and you are already studying there. So what could be the preparation tip?
Sure. So I think it's a great thing for the viewers because I'll tell you something that I have cleared IIFT's exam twice. The first time it was, and both the time it was more than 97 percentile. The first time I think it was 99. The second time it was something like 98 point something. So point being that I have cleared twice. So I think I'm in a better position to tell you. My CAT percentile in 2019 was 99.41. So I did have a great CAT percentile also. At the same time, I'd appeared for ZAT at the same time, 99.2 percentile, and IFT was there too. These were the three exams that I had sat for. I didn't sit for any other examination. So in terms of preparation, okay, CAT is different from IFT. CAT is more about your like logical understanding, your critical understanding of an essay. Let's see if I have to divide verbal, logic, LRDI, as well as mathematics. Out here, the same pattern: verbal, LRDI, and mathematics. Now, what really makes a difference in IFT and why IFT might be difficult for a few people to crack? In the CAT, we have small paragraphs in terms of verbal ability and reasoning, right? But in IFT, we have huge paragraphs, like really huge paragraphs. So if you read it at the same speed as you read for the CAT verbal, you will never be able to complete IFT's paper and you will lose a lot of marks because in CAT's paper, the questions are very difficult in terms of understanding. You might have to infer a lot. But in IFT's paper, the inference level is not, I mean, the questions are direct questions. The questions are mostly about, let's say, target-based question. Let's say from a paragraph, they will take a question and they will ask you for that. So if a person is actually trying to understand and comprehend the essay a lot, they will lose out on time. And English, for that matter, is a earner for IFT because again, if you read one para, you'll be able to solve 4 or 5 questions for English. But in mathematics, every question will take you around 1 to 1.5 minutes, right? So it's not maths who will fetch you marks. It's English that will fetch you marks. So a person who is actually weak in English might eventually think that, okay, I might be scared of it. So having said that, I think LR is not that difficult in IFT. DI is very difficult and very calculation intensive. So it's not about using your brains a lot, but it's to be very quick at numeric calculation. That is something that IFT paper will test you upon. So having said that, if you need to prepare separately for both the examination, I would say no. Be very confident on your CAT, appear for your CAT. Once you have done your CAT, whatever the result may be, you might have 18 days. I'm assuming the CAT is on November end this year too. So after that, you will have 18 to 20 days in your hand. Focus on numeric abilities, focus on reading through the past papers of IFT, and that will help you, crack IFT very easily. You don't need to worry about this because after that also, it's not just the exam. Even if you have a 95 percentile or a 90 percentile in some cases, you will get a shortlist for an interview. In the interview, you will have a critical evaluation of your application. They will go through your application and they will read through it. They will understand what kind of person you are. So even if at a 94 percentile, you might have a chance to make it to IFT. So don't get bogged down that, okay, I might not be the 99 percentiler, but don't worry, we have your back at 90 percentile also.
So, Ayush, if I'm not mistaken, for the IIFT exam, we have 2 hours of duration in hands and around 110 questions, MCQs,
So,
right?
yeah, another thing
Yeah.
is that in CAT you have fixed hours, like 40 minutes, and earlier it was 1 hour, so 40 minutes for a world. So the CAT exam ends for 40 minutes, three papers, right? In IFT, it's an open ground, and we have sectional cutoff at the same time. You can't just be doing verbal and verbal and verbal and leave out maths and LRDA. That will not happen. So, in terms of my strategy, what I would say is that do the easiest one first. Complete your verbal 10 question, 15 question, get the cutoff clear. Do the mathematics one, the easier ones first. Clear all the cutoffs, and then you identify which part of the paper is very easy. If the mathematics has come easier, go for the maths. If the LRDI, I doubt it has never come easy, so it's not that it will come easy. But again, English, if it's easy, go for English. So I think you have to approach it in a strategic manner, not just a person who has come here for solving all the questions, which is not possible. So you must aim for maximizing your marks and not take it to ego that, yeah, I have to solve every question, every one.
And that could be one of the hypothetical question. Let's say of a person who is not that strong in English. So, any tips for the English language enhancement or something like that?
Honestly, based on my experience, let's say even if you're not, if you think that you're, see, I don't really think that anyone is weak on English or not, because again, we have been given a formal education in most of the cases till class 10 and 12, and that is enough. We know how to read newspaper, that's totally enough. We know how to understand what people are saying, that's totally enough. What you need to do is to read. I mean, to read in the sense that you need to take a gist of the entire passage by reading it like from an, like from a 30 feet view, and then try to get the answers. So that is very necessary in that case. I mean, and that would help you crack the exam. You don't need to worry about. And even if you think that you're very weak, 18 days is not the time that you will actually make it better. So let's stop worrying about it. Let's try to maximize your marks. That would be necessary right now.
Now, let's come to a question: how a day of IIFTian looks like.
Great. So a day at IFT starts at, I think I think it starts whenever you wanted to start, but again it's 8:30 when we start normally. We rush to the breakfast. We have our breakfast. We rush for our classes at 9. 9 to 6 we have our classes back to back. We might have surprise quizzes. We might have evaluation. We might have projects. We might have assignments, presentation, anything that can happen in 9 to 6. Post that, mostly people take a break, be it playing sports, be it going for walks for an hour or so. After that, we are back at our assignments. We are back for our club activities. We do it till dinner time. Once dinner is over, we mostly go for our assignments that we have to submit the next day, our evaluation that might have happened that day. We might be preparing for quizzes. Post that, we have case competitions that most of us focus on. So let's say, there are different corporate case competition that open. So it's 12 to 2 or 3. As long as your body does not give up, you keep on doing that. And then I think most of us retire to bed by 3:30, and then again the cycle starts at 8:30 in the morning again.
So, Ayush, one more question I have received: how you are managing your expenses when your college is located in South Delhi? Okay.
Interesting question. So, honestly, I do a few live projects. That's one of the ways I manage my expenses. So you might be getting. I do a lot of case competition. That helps me a lot. So case competition, if you're winning also something, even if it's peanuts, you earn a lot enough to manage yourself. So that would be one. At the same time, you get an internship for 2 months. That gives you some boost. At the same time, I'm covered with education loan, so my education is covered out there. And my personal expenses, I take it out from case competition, or let's say the internship amount that I got to earn.
Okay. I hope, Ayush, you can see a comment I have just pinned. Does experience counts at IIFT during admissions apart from the entrance exam?
Yes, it does. I mean, it depends on your experience. I mean, I had a great analytic experience, so they did really ask me that whether you want to pursue. I mean, you have to be very clear. Let's say if you have a finance experience, then be clear that yes, I want to pursue my finance. If you have a CFA paper, if you're a CFA holder, so yeah, you're good to go. I mean, they will surely prefer you. If you're a CA, if you're a like you're a doctor from a different stream, they'll prefer you. So yeah,
Now, I also want to ask you a question.
sure.
After clearing entrance examination, do we have any GD or personal
Yeah.
interview round? And what sort
So,
of questions are being asked there?
sure. So, So I'll tell you. Okay, we had JD, VAT, and PI. When I say VAT, it means that written aptitude test. So they'll take you through an essay, which is very standard for across all the baby IIMs, new IIMs, as well as IIM Ahmedabad. They will have that process mandatorily. GD is very unique to IIFT Delhi, because what they do is they'll give you 2 minutes each to speak, so that you don't think that people are cutting me off, people are not letting me speak. No such thing happens at IIFT GD. Everyone gets 2 minutes to speak, and then the floor is open for everyone to speak. So then people argue and debate, and then they come up to a conclusion. What happens? At the same time, in terms of written aptitude test, we get an essay topic. Let's say I'll give an example how. Let's say how reverse migration is happening in India after the COVID-19 crisis, or let's say I'll just give an example for shiksha.com itself. Let's say shiksha.com as a platform, how they're helping communities and students and aspirants, effectively prepare for their examination. That can be a topic, a very generic topic that you have answers to. That will be a question, and then you will have to write in terms of points, in terms of your, let's say you don't have to write essays and with intro, body, and conclusion. You have to be more about analytical in your approach. That's very necessary. Apart from that, in terms of PI, if you have relevant your work experience will be very important. If you do not have relevant if you're a fresher, your bachelor degree will be very important. You need to prove to the panel very simply that whatever you have done till now is substantial. You have given your time to that, whatever you have done, be it your work experience, be it your classes. At the same time, whatever you intend to do, you're very clear on that. If you want to be a sales and marketing expert, show them that yes, you know that. If you want to be a finance expert, show them that you want to do that. So in my case, I wanted to be a, let's say, a IT professional, or let's say a sales and marketing enthusiast. They asked me marketing question. They asked me about my work experience. They asked me behavioral question, like what had happened, leadership situations, like when I led a team and all. So it's very interesting in that way. And I think the preparation is very general, because you know what the answers are. So it's all about dwelling deep into your mind and coming out with answers.
So you still want to make your career in tech, is it so?
Uh, I'm open to opportunities again, but again, yeah, tech is something that excites me. But again, I think more than that, it excites me is maybe problem solving. And if any industry offers me that, I'm good to go.
So I again have pinned a comment. What if a person has an experience as a software developer? I think you can answer this.
Yeah, so that's a great thing. I mean, product management role opens for you. So companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and all, right? So they prefer people like you who have, let's say, worked at React, who have worked in web development, who have worked in, let's say, analytics, AWS, Azure, right? So you people are ones who have actually worked in the field as a software developer, and then you are the ones who have, like they can come and make a difference for these tech companies. So yeah, you'll be preferred.
Again, we have a question. How many questions are in the IIFT question paper? Though we
So
have
I think
already discussed about it, but
yeah,
yeah.
so I think you'll get the details in the admit card again if they revise it again. But traditionally, it has been around 110 questions.
Okay, now let's come to a discussion point on placement drive and opportunities.
So placement drive, as I was talking to the person who had asked for the IT question also. So placement drive, in terms of companies, the corporate brochures are available on the internet. You can go through the placement data, the companies that come, the industries they come from, the roles they offer, everything is available on the internet, and we are very transparent upon that. In terms of opportunities, in terms of live projects, there are several live projects that alumni of IFT floats at our college, where you can work at a stipend if you have that work experience. At the same time, there are opportunities in terms of case competition. I was saying, the corporate case competitions are very rewarding and very, let's say, productive in the manner that they actually teach you what problems the industry face. So you prove your mettle, and trust me, it's very rewarding. You will be acknowledged, you will be appreciated, and you'll back some money or the other. So yeah, that's interesting.
So can you just name few of the companies who visit the campus?
Sure. I mean, let's say the companies that everyone knows about, let's say the Microsofts of the world, Amazon, Microsoft, Samsung, these are the companies in the IT sector. If I talk about the marketing sector, you'll have HUL, L'Oreal, Asian Paints, the big giants out there. If you talk about sales, there is Bajaj, there is Bajaj Consumers, there is, J&J. There's again a lot of companies out there too. If you talk about finance, there's DE Shaw, there's JPMC, there are Goldman Sachs. So the giants out there too. So in terms of companies and the kind of companies that come, you're very well covered. Now it depends upon you how you prove your competencies to these companies.
So, Ayush, it's time to wrap up our session for today, but
Sure.
we want a word of advice for the students who want to join IIFT.
Right. So honestly, I have been in that, like in your shoes 2 years back, or it's 1.5 years back, and I understand it's very difficult because you're trusting your career, and as I say, Sam, you're trusting your entire like the MBA fee that we talked about, right? It's a huge fee that you're trusting upon. But at this point of time, I think you should be very clear, like why you're doing an MBA. If you have the answer to that question, be focused on your preparation, and no matter which college you go through, you'll do great at it. At the same time, if you're very focused on IFT, and I hope the session we had today is like helped you a lot. So I hope if that's the case, then IFT would surely give you a, let's say a launch pad for you to accelerate whatever career trajectory you are in. And again, the opportunities are really great, and you just have to prove your competence, and you have to prove your, let's say, hardworking skills. That's all.
So, thank you, Ayush, for your time and answering all our queries.
Yeah, thank you, shiksha.com, for having me here. Yeah, have a great day.
You too. And thank you to all our viewers for being with us and asking all the relevant questions. And Siksha will come up with a new live session soon. So keep on checking Siksha website www.siksha.com for more updates, because we come up with webinars also, so you can enroll there for free. And this video will be available on the Siksha Instagram in a while, so that you can just go back to this particular video and look at the points you have just missed. And with this, I am Shilpa signing off. Till then, take care and keep dreaming high. Bye.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.